Hello everybody, and welcome to my fantasy map, Wixo. Or what if civilization started over? This is of course, well, like I said, completely made by me. I made this whole map by myself, but yeah, it looks pretty cool, and I just thought I would do a Wixo on it. But first of all, before we get into it, I want to show you guys a little bit and talk a little bit about this map. First of all, this is the territory, or unexplored territory, makes sense. But we also have a couple different layers, such as terrain. We have like the gray is tundra, glacier, forest, plains, desert, savanna. You get the point. But we also have one extra layer with that, and it is the climate. This is like how warm the areas are. And well, we just have other things like the tectonic plates, continent names. But yeah, we can always get into that later. But if you guys like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. All the support is greatly appreciated. We are on the road to 200 subscribers. I know it's not very much, but it is a good goal. But without further ado, let's get right into it. So we are going to be seeing civilization starting over right here, or starting right here on this continent. This continent is going to be called Alteron. But we are going to be seeing this little piece of civilization start. And well, they're going to be starting right here in this area. But we see these people start going around this little peninsula or whatever you want to call it. But if you guys would like to see the names of nations in this series, please let me know. Um I I thought about doing it, but if you want to see that, just let me know in the comments. But we see this little civilization popping up over here on this brand new planet. And we see them going out from here. We also see this nation going up this little coast around here and reaching up with this little peninsula as well. But yeah, nothing too much, as these guys are really, like, they're super, new to this world, and they have no idea, like, what's in it. But, yeah, we see this civilization looking something like this. However, this is not the only civilization to be forming, as we will also be seeing another one take place down here. And, well, it'll be just around this coast. This is fairly, alright land. I know it's a bunch of forests and maybe a little bit of tundra, but yeah, we see this other civilization forming right here, and they continue to go out and explore these areas. We also see them going around this little bay, or wait, no, this is ocean. But yeah, we just see them going up and around like this. But we eventually see them getting up here in this little snake-like formation, and, well, yeah, very good for them, as this land will be very important in the future. But now let's go back up to these guys, as there are a couple things that they're doing, as well as discovering this island right here. But, yeah, they quickly discover this, or they discover it, not quickly, I guess. But they also go out from here and start discovering more lands and waters. At this point, I'd say they have like canoes, and I'd say the year is about the year 10. And these guys are just going at it and keep on exploring land as they explore all of this little piece right here. And they start to go further down south into these areas. Now, one thing to know about this group, they are quickly gaining movement right here. So this is actually going to allow them to become the first civilization. But we see this red country forming right up here in this little peninsula area, and they quickly start to go around and colonize the area. Additionally, we have to go to the religion layer and add in the red religion, or yeah, red religion right here, as we see this new religion forming mainly around these little points right here. not quite in here yet, as there isn't really many people. And the other layer we have to look at, is the language layer. As we see, these guys are, the language is actually going to be a different color. And we see that they invent the yellow language, and this is a very important language in the series, as it is just starting here. But yep, we're just gonna ignore that for a little bit and go back to colonizing, or like exploring. And we see the red country continuing to colonize the area, mainly around the coastal areas, as this is where most of their food and resources are. But they also continue to go up here and claim more and more of this like new land, or whatever you want to call it. But now we have to go back down here in the south, and we see that these guys are doing they're doing a lot of like exploring, and they do a lot to the point where they are also looking pretty big, specifically in the just this part, just like this, and we even see all of this just going away. And well, this is also going to lead to them becoming a new country. However, a different color country is going to start first, as we see a green country forming right down here along this coast that kind of looks like Crimea, actually. I don't even know how I drew that. But we also see a blue country forming right here. This one will be pretty important, and these guys will definitely be rivals in the future. But yeah, we see these guys expanding a little bit, not too much, as they are fairly new. And well, it is pretty good for them, as new countries need the land, and these guys definitely need this land, as it will be important in the future. But that is not the only country we will see forming over here, but we'll take a look at that in a second. But now let's go back up to the red team, who just discovered a very large island right up here. This is, like I keep saying, going to be pretty important. But we see the red team starting to explore this little island, or this big island up here, and they just go around like the coastal areas at the start, but then they start going inland, and just like this, very good for them. And they start going down south, and they are very successful down here, especially in this area. But this is where we're gonna see a little bit of like the first age of colonization, or whatever you want to call it, by the red team. But they also go over here and discover another island, and they continue to go up this coast. And well, yeah, this is going to be pretty big for them in the future if they can hold on to it, which I'll tell you right now they won't. But yeah, very good for them. Oh shoot, didn't pause. Up. That's a little bad, but I can just whatever. But yeah, we also see that the red team is going to expand a little bit. And we see them mostly expanding down here in the lower regions of this little place right here. However, there is going to be a couple road bumps in the way as well. Hold on, let's take a look at the tundra, or like the oh, I guess not. Yeah, they're fine. They have a ton of forest. But yeah, very good for the red team. This is pretty valuable right now, as it can get a lot of lumber and stuff from this. However, it is at this point where the red team makes a pretty vital mistake, as their empire is getting pretty big, and they decide to go even further, and it just ends up pretty bad for them. As once they take this island, oh wow, that didn't take very long. But we see that the red team has 2 rebellions inside of it, and well, the blue one is doing pretty good up in the north, and the pink one is doing pretty good down south. Now, the red team, what are they gonna do with this? They don't really know what to do, as this is literally the first war they have ever fought. But yeah, they're just gonna put people on the line right up here. And well, they're basically just sending people out with like sticks because they don't have the military yet. In fact, they don't even have like pitchforks yet. But they quickly send these guys out. But they kind of do a bad thing as they continue to colonize up here. Which what the heck are you doing, Red Team? You're already in a civil war. But or I guess it's not a civil war. But we see them going up here, and oh, there's a friendly little country here that wants to take your land. But we see that the yellow team makes the first invasion force of literally ever in the series. And, well, it immediately cuts us in half as they're literally just throwing people on the front lines. But, with this, the red team, well, they're just throwing people on there, and probably like 50 people have got killed from this, and like 100 people down here, and like 50 people up here. But that's a pretty big chunk for like the world right now. And well, let's just say that it is not going to end very well for them. As well, something else is going to happen. And oh, your own government is rebelling against you. Oh, perfect. That's beautiful for you. But we see that the red team government is literally, or it's not really a government, it's just a couple people. But it already collapses, and well, it's not going to completely collapse, but yeah, it's not looking very good, as these guys kind of want to overthrow them, because, just throwing people out on the front lines is not very good, as we see more and more people wanting to join the movement. And well, once the red team fully surrenders over to the red team rebellion, we can take a look at this peace treaty. But yeah, in this peace treaty, we see that the yellow team gets a little bit of land up here, and the pink team gets a little bit down here. And these guys actually lose some land. Good for you. Whatever. But yeah, as we can see, the world map is looking pretty blank right now. So yeah, let's continue to do some exploring. Starting over here, we see that the green team continues to do their exploring arc down here in the south, as they continue to explore these waters, as I think this is classified as salt water actually in this world. But yeah, they continue to go around the coast yet again, and they reach this little bay up here. At this point, these guys do not know about each other because they're still like 1,000 miles away. And I should probably show you the scale of this map. But yeah, we see that they continue to explore these areas, and even just explore this whole main piece over here. Very good for them. And we even see them send out a couple of canoes over this huge, like, channel. And they start exploring, well, they find this big island. Good for you, guys. And they continue, and they start exploring this area. Very good for them. And, well, yeah, they just continue to go around these areas and explore as much land as possible, so they can expand their empire greatly. However, the blue team is not going to, well, just stand around. In fact, they're actually going to, they're both going to have like a race to just discover as much land as possible. And, well, yeah, it's probably not going to end well. But yeah, we are actually going to be seeing both of these getting a little bit of land. But let's start off with the green team. And the green team starts expanding down here, mostly around the coast, as this is where most of the population lives. But they take all of this land so far right here. And if we go over here, we even see that they meet up with their rival, the blue team. And oh, I wonder if this is going to end well. Probably not. But also, the blue team is going to be doing some expanding as well, up around the coast. However, down here, it does look pretty bland again, as there's only 2 flippin' countries. So, well, we are actually going to see some migrators out of both of these countries moving over into this new land. And let's take a look at which countries form over here. We're actually going to be seeing two countries forming over here so far. The first one is going to be an orange country right here. This one starts off pretty small. And up here in the north, we are going to see a pink country forming as well. Just right here. And, yeah, these guys are brand new. And just like all the countries in the world, they have absolutely no idea what's going on. I mean, I guess the red team does. Not really, because, well, they just lost a whole freaking war. But we are actually going to be seeing a new country forming up here as well. This country is going to be the lime team, and they just take this all. And they even take some land around here in these areas. Yeah, good for them. But it is finally time to add a brand new layer before I close this episode out. And this is going to be the capitals layer. So let's take a look at where these guys' capitals are. Starting off with the red team, we see that their capital city is going to be right there. The pink team is going to be on this island just, well, where they started. And, well, up here, we see that the lime team's capital city right here. We see that this weird country's capital is right there, as far away from them as possible. Down here, we see that the green team's capital city will be right there. The blue team's will be right there. These guys really don't have anything, so we're just going to give them random capitals. And then up here with the yellow country, we actually have to change the color of their capital so you can see it. But yeah, those are our capital cities for, well, right now. And, well, right before we get into, well, the finale of this episode, we need to update the religion layer. So let's quickly do that. But with the religion layer, we actually see that the red country is, or like the red religion is expanding pretty greatly amongst, well, these very core areas. We also see remnants of it popping up over here as well and continuing to expand downward. We also see it in the pink team as well. They were originally from the red team. And we even see it going up into like the old red team lands. Even up here in Denmark and like this, just right here. However, once we get over here, we have to take a look at a different religion, which is actually going to be the limish, or whatever you want to call this kind of color religion. It looks pretty bad. But we see that these two countries fall primarily under this religion. And, well, these guys are going to be pretty important too. And then for the yellow team, they're the same religion as the red team. However, we're actually going to be changing that, as they are an offspring religion of the red team up here. In fact, this needs to be a little bit darker. Just like that. But yeah, you can see that they're an offspring. Down here, we are actually going to be seeing the green religion popping up. This green religion, of course, starts here in like this area right here. And it's actually pretty split out, I guess I'd say, as it's not like all condensated yet. I mean, there's this big blob right here, but it's mainly spread out, not too big of like really big clumps besides that. But then we have the purple religion up here in the blue country. We're just going to make it purple because purple is good, or it looks kind of good. In fact, this should be a little bit darker. There we go, beautiful. But we see that the purple religion starts right here. And, well, it even is in this pink country up here. Yeah, just like right around these areas. And then this orange country is actually going to be the blue religious country, just like this. As we see the blue religion just like that appear. But yeah, those are our religions. And, well, I'll update the language layer because that's not going to be really important. But, yeah, thank you guys for watching today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over on a Fantasy Map. I will make sure to post one every 3 to 4 days. But, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.